Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video I have pretty much ever done. I did a few when I was younger but they're a bit too embarrassing to show. I've been getting quite a few requests on my Instagram and blog about possibly doing a YouTube channel based on chronic illness, mental illness and just like my life and how I cope with everything that's going on. So a bit of an introduction to myself. I'm Emma, I'm 20 years old and currently I work in a cafe as a chef and waitress. Then on this side, like as some people will know, others maybe not, I do run a blog and an Instagram dedicated to raising awareness and making chronic and mental illnesses more normal and more accepted. So today's just going to be a little bit of an introduction about me and the problems I suffer with, and yeah, let's just get on to it. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 17 years old. I'd gone to the doctors for quite a few years before that, like struggling with different things and just not very nice symptoms, not that anyone really wants to go through, especially at high school. I kept going back to the doctors. Then when I was 17 they finally said, look, we're gonna send you for a colonoscopy, which is a scan of the bowel. I was just not happy with that. I just didn't want it, but I knew there was something wrong with me, so I went to it, and pretty much during that exam he was like, yeah, this looks consistent with Crohn's disease, we'll do some biopsies, we'll send it off to the lab, but yeah, pretty much we think it's Crohn's disease. For any of you who don't know, Crohn's disease is a autoimmune disease, which means that it's actually your immune system attacking itself, which is hard to know and hard to experience when you go through it, because you're thinking, whoa, my body's going against me. So yeah, it's just basically like bacteria in your gut getting really stupidly confused and just being like, I'm going to attack each other, like this is going to be horrible, and we're just going to give you loads of painful symptoms, we're going to give you ulcers, we're going to give you just all kind of problems you just don't really want to be dealing with. So yeah, I kind of got thrown in at the deep end. They were like, this is Crohn's, this is what you're going to deal with, this is going to be lifelong, and yeah, it's incurable. So I was just devastated. I didn't want to be the 17-year-old with a bowel disease. I just didn't want to walk into school and everyone be like, ew, you're gross. It sounds irrational, and I know a lot of people watching this will be thinking, why would you even think that? Like, no one's going to care, you're ill, it's okay, like it'll be fine. But for me, just kind of accepting that I had a bowel disease and that was my problem, my issue, and it was just never going to go away, I found it really hard. So I quit school in the end. I started on a course of steroids. Now, these are not the kind of steroids that make you like super muscly and like amazing at sport and stuff. These are like proper steroids. And it didn't really feel any different. I mean, I still had symptoms, but I guess they were a little better. Like, I don't really know. I was very new to the whole process of having this disease and dealing with that's my dog coming through the door, and dealing with the issues of it and just coping with it, and I just didn't know. Anyway, I was on them for a really long time. They made me so angry, like so depressed, like I just shout at my family all of the time just because that's how I felt. I just felt horrible, so I just portrayed that to everyone else, and I became quite an issue in my family because I just would shout. I just couldn't control it, and I just wasn't a happy person. And I think the biggest thing for me and my family was I have always been a really positive, really bright, really bubbly girl, and like happiness is just who I am. And all of a sudden I was like shouting at everyone, like getting angry. I put on so much weight, like so much. I think it was about 15 kilograms in the end. It was just massive. I was just a lot bigger than I'd ever been, because I just wanted to eat all the time, and that just made me feel horrible too. So I was kind of like battling with the fact that my body had just like grown massively. I just wanted to eat anything in sight. I just didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to leave the house. I started at Leeds College of Music around the time I came off my steroids, and I was super freaked out because I was like at my highest weight. Like, I'd left school, I didn't know what I was doing, like I didn't know anyone at this college. I mean, I kind of saw it as a fresh start, but yeah, like, wasn't going very well. Yeah, I just didn't feel good, and pretty much on my induction to college I was like, I'm not staying here. Like, everyone here is too cool, like everyone looks nice. It's just not happening. But I stayed for a couple of years before leaving due to illness issues. A lot of people have asked what medication I've been on for my Crohn's disease, and I wasn't really going to touch on it in this YouTube video because I've been on quite a few medications and had like some pretty weird side effects, and I didn't want to like broadcast them to everyone because not everyone gets them. I mean, it's just an unlucky few people who really suffer with side effects, but I will talk about them. So kind of alongside my steroids, I first started on a drug called azathioprine. I'm not really sure what it's meant to do, but I think it suppresses your immune system down. So basically, like, because it's an autoimmune disease, if you don't have an immune system there, it can't attack itself. It's, yeah, complicated. I started that for a while, and like I think it took them for about 2 weeks, and just I didn't know it was anything, but I was like, whatever, I'll take them, whatever. And we went on a family holiday to Cornwall, and I just started feeling like weird, nauseous, warm, just horrible. Like, oh god, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I thought we're dying. And I rang the IBD helpline. Oh my gosh, they just save my life all the time because I always have mental breakdowns about my illness, and I can just ring them whenever. So I rang them at 4 AM and I was like, I'm being sick, I feel horrible, like, is this my tablets, is this my Crohn's, like, what is going on? Because when you have Crohn's disease, once you're diagnosed with it, that kind of becomes your main like health issue. So you don't know if it's Crohn's or like something else is going on, and it's just like, what do I do? So I rang them, they rang back like, oh yeah, take another one, and then if it doesn't help then maybe we should stop them. So I took another one, even worse than I was the night before, like being really sick, felt really ill, could barely eat, and like I honestly thought I was gonna die. Like, I know that sounds really drastic, but it was just like the worst feeling I've ever had in my life, and I just thought, oh my, I can't cope with this, I'm not coping. So I came off them. I didn't even ring them back, I just came off them. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I came off them, went back to hospital pretty much as I was starting college, and they were like, so obviously it didn't work for you, we're going to try one that's a bit similar, but it's basically in a more broken down form, so it just kind of goes into your system easier, and see how that works. I took one of them. I woke up in the middle of the night hallucinating, like it feels like it happened to me. Like, I woke up and there was a doctor and he was like stabbing me in the arm. Like, it sounds drastic, I know, like proper stabbing me, and like nurses were holding me down, and I was like screaming, and I was like so hot, and I thought I was just going crazy. Like, I thought I was stuck in a hospital and I was being like stabbed all over by medical staff. It was crazy. I went in, I got my mum, I was like, oh, the worst thing is happening, I've just been stabbed by loads of nurses, and she was like, what are you on about? And I was like, all night they've been stabbing me, it's horrible, I feel so ill. And she was like, right, you're not taking another one of them. So I didn't. I literally took one dose and it just sent me loopy. It was horrible. It was such a bad experience. So I had the day off, came off the medication, came off the steroids that I was meant to be on for 3 months, and I was on for 9 months because no one thought to tell me to come off them. So that's why they were so horrible and made me so aggressive and just fat and just not happy. after all of that, I did stay at college. I started to make a few friends, and I went for my first appointment at Chapel Allerton Hospital, where I started an infliximab infusion. So that's an anti-TNF, I think. Or is that the other one? I don't know. It's a strong drug. And I have to have a shot of Piriton, because when I first started on this drug, like, my skin came up in like psoriasis, and it was all like red and blotchy and just horrid. Like, it was really itchy and really sore, and that's quite a common side effect to infliximab. So they gave me Piriton, like a really high dose of it, just so when I have it, like, my body's like, okay, we can deal with this. And they also give me steroids as well for pretty much the same reason. I'm not on like azathioprine or mercaptopurine, which helps, I think, take the other drugs. I'm not a medical expert, I just know what I'm told. But yeah, I started this. It didn't go well at first, but I've been on it for about 18 months now, I think. Possibly longer. And, you know, it's doing pretty well for me. Like, I'm feeling okay. I mean, in the grand scheme of like Crohn's, there's like a scale of 0, which is nothing, and 10, which is like, I'm dying. And I'd say, like, firmly on a day-to-day basis, I'm like on a 5 or 6. Like, before I would say more 7, 8. Like, I just felt ill all the time. Like, everything hurt. I didn't want to eat. My mental state was just like, no, I'm gross. I've got a bowel disease. Like, I'm gonna have no friends for the rest of my life, and I'm just gonna be sad and alone. But I'm not sad and alone. I'm still on this drug. I had a bit of a flare-up over the last couple of weeks where I did take a short course of budesonide, which is the first steroid I ever went on. And yeah, I'm doing okay. And it's hard. It really is hard. And I think it's hard to explain to people how every day you're waking up and you're dealing with this. Every day you're in bed and you just don't want to. But you gotta, like, you just can't quit at life. And yeah, this is what this channel is gonna be about. Like, I'm gonna be talking about how you can get through it and how it is okay and how to cope, and just kind of keep you updated on my life. I mean, I've kind of given more of a medical overview of my Crohn's at the moment. And there's a lot I've missed out because I don't want to make my first video like the biggest, longest ramble of my life about Crohn's. But yeah, this channel I'm going to talk about my Crohn's, I'm going to talk about my life, like how I'm dealing with going to work all the time, like how I deal with like leaving uni. Like, it sounds stupid, but it was a really hard decision for me, and it really impacted me a lot in how I view myself. So yeah, coping mechanisms, just everything you can think of to do with chronic illnesses, Crohn's disease. I just want to make it normal. Like, I just feel like we don't have enough people who sit down and talk about it. It's stupid. We shouldn't be ashamed of having a bowel disease. At the end of the day, it's just another part of the body that we all have to deal with, that we all have. It could happen to anyone. Like, at 17, I just didn't understand why it was happening to me. I thought I was the most disgusting person in the world, and just, why? I mean, Crohn's disease should be something like 80-year-olds get because they've had a rubbish diet and just lived a rubbish life and drank too much. But no. It can happen to anyone, and yeah, I'm just going to raise some awareness about it because we need to. We just need to stop making poo and bowel issues and IBD and IBS and just chronic illness to be a subject. Sorry, I just had a bit of a coughing fit there. So, I hope you like this video. I will link the link to my blog and my Instagram down below. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing these more often now, and I really just want to make IBD okay and chronic illness okay and mental illness okay, mental, not mental, I don't know. I'm just gonna make it more okay for people to talk about. So yes, like, subscribe, I don't know, share, do whatever you feel you need to do. I'm not here to become super popular, I'm just here to help those suffering and just give some advice on how to cope with everyday life. So thank you for watching this video. It would be great if you could leave me a comment, or you know, email me some questions or things you'd like me to cover in this channel. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.